Hello everyone, my name is Ashutosh and today I'm back with another video on Fastify, and today we'll talk about different things about Fastify. So before that, let us understand what is Fastify. So till now, if you want to do backend programming using Node.js, then we had only one option, that is Express.js. But now Fastify is added to that list. So it means that if you want to create or if you want to do backend programming in Node.js, then you can either use Express.js or Fastify. So Fastify has become an alternative to Express.js for backend programming, and that is why Fastify is a backend framework for Node.js. So in this video, I am going to talk in depth about what Fastify is, how to use it, how to create a backend server using Fastify, how to connect Fastify backend server to MongoDB, and how to insert and fetch the data from MongoDB. I'll also talk about concepts like how to create routes, specifically get and post routes from our backend framework, from our backend server. What are hooks and how to create them? What are decorators and how to create them? What is the use of schema and validation, etc. I will talk about all these concepts in depth. I've given a timestamp in this video so that if you want to reach to any particular topic, you can click on the timestamp and you can reach to that particular topic. So to get started, I have completely new and blank project in Visual Studio Code. So to initialize the project or any Node.js project, if you want to initialize it, first we need to create package.json file. So we can do that using npm init. Just fill out this information. Now you can see that your package.json is created, and to create our backend server, we need to create one more file, that is index.js file, which will be our backend server, and we will run this file to start our server. But to create a server, we first need to install the npm package related to Fastify. So if we scroll through the documentation of Fastify, you can see that to install Fastify, we just need to execute this command, that is npm install Fastify. After installing Fastify, if I want to start a server, they have also given a basic boilerplate. So let us copy this boilerplate and paste it into our code, and I'll explain the boilerplate step by step. So how this boilerplate is working is, we are first importing Fastify from Fastify package using require method of Node.js, and then we are enabling logger equal to true. With this, it will log the information whatever the server will provide. So it will log all the errors, warning and important information while our server is running. For example, if a request hit to our backend server, then it will log that the request has been hit to this particular router. We have also created a basic route. So route means a get request. So let us say we start our server, then the default request, if somebody makes to our server, then it will return this response. And we have started the server using this fastify.listen method. So what is the server? So server means it will serve to a client application. It means that if a client application makes a request, then it will return a response. And to listen to this request, we have to start the server. And for that, this asynchronous method is written. So what this asynchronous method does is, it uses fastify.listens method internally, and it will listen to incoming request on port 3000 on our browser. So if we save this file and let us start this server. To start the server, we will use command node and then give the file name of our server, that is index.js. And after running this file, you can see that our server is running at 127.0.0.1 and port 3000. So if I query to that, you can see that we are getting the response hello world. And for this setup, this browser acts as a client application, and this server which we are running is our backend server. And since we have hit towards a default router, that is just a URL of our backend server, then it returns this default response which we have set here. So if I change the response to hello Ashutosh, and if I restart my server, and if I again refresh this request, you can see that now the response changes. So with this, we have created our basic backend server using Fastify. One more detail is that if you want to define a host, let's say you have a URL of your host and you want to define that so that this server should listen to that particular host, then you can define as an argument or a parameter to listen function of Fastify, and you can do that by just passing this parameter. So now if I restart the server, you can see that my server is now listening to this host that we defined, that is 0.0.0.0, and the port that we defined. Now let us talk about plugins. So what is plugin first? So whenever we create any project in JavaScript or Node.js, what we do is we don't write all the code in one file. Instead, what we do is we write code in different files, and then we export function written in a particular file, and then we import those functions in a main file like this using require. So in plain JavaScript, everything is object, and in Fastify everything is plugin. So if you import anything in plain JavaScript, that is by default becomes a JavaScript object. For example, if we have imported this Fastify plugin, then this Fastify plugin has become a JavaScript object. Same as if we define a particular method or a function in some other file of this project, and if we want to import that into this file, then that is called a plugin. Don't worry if you didn't understand what is plugin, you will get to know about that just in a minute. So let us create a sample plugin, and to do that, what we need to do is we need to create a function which will contain all the routes of our server. So you can think of like this as, if I have like 1,000 different routes, one is like just slash and another is just fetch data or something like that. So there are like, let's say 1,000 different types of routes, and if I put all those routes and the code corresponding to all those routes in this single index.js file, then the code would be pretty much messy. So that is why plugin comes into picture. So what plugin does is, with plugin we will create a different file, routes.js, and in this file we will create a function called, we will create asynchronous function routes, which will take argument as Fastify and options, and in this function we will write all our routes. So we had a default route, that is fastify.get and default route, and we are returning information hello Ashutosh in this route. And after writing this function, I want to export this function from this file so that it can be used in other files as well. So to export this function, I will write module.export and the name of this function routes. So with this, we have created our first plugin, that is this function, and we have exported this plugin from this file. Now, how to import this plugin in our index.js file, because ultimately we want to use these routes in index.js file. So importing a plugin in Fastify is called as register plugin, and Fastify provides a method register, and we can call this method fastify.register, and this fastify.register takes a JavaScript object as an argument, and we can pass a JavaScript object using require method and just pass a file name that we have defined for routes. And after doing this, let us restart our Node.js server, and if I refresh this page again, you can see that our server is running perfectly fine since we have registered our first plugin, and this plugin points to this function which is serving this port. So this was about creating our first plugin and registering that plugin into Fastify backend server. Now let us talk about MongoDB and how to connect our backend server to MongoDB. So first of all, to connect to a MongoDB, first we need to start the MongoDB, which is there in our local system. To start the MongoDB, we need to run this command, that is brew services start, and then the MongoDB version and type which you have in your local system. So it will tell you that it has successfully started the MongoDB. And if you want to double check, then you can run command mongo, and with that you will be able to access the shell of MongoDB. And hence we understand that now our MongoDB is running perfectly fine, and we can write code to connect to our MongoDB in our backend server. Now how to connect to MongoDB? So to connect to MongoDB, we will create a new plugin, that is dbconnect.js, and in this plugin we'll write a code or a plugin to connect this backend server to MongoDB. But before that, we need to install two plugins for connecting this backend framework to MongoDB, and those two plugins are Fastify MongoDB and Fastify plugin. These two plugins are very important if you want to connect to MongoDB, in which Fastify MongoDB is a specific plugin which we can use to connect to MongoDB, and Fastify plugin is a plugin which works as a wrapper around other Fastify plugins so that we can use hooks and decorators from those plugins. Don't worry if you don't know about hooks and decorators, we are going to cover them in this crash course. So now let us create a dbconnect plugin in here. So to do that, first we'll create a function dbconnect which will take two arguments, Fastify and options, and in here we first need to register the plugin that we have installed just now, and this plugin would be Fastify MongoDB. So why we are registering this plugin here, we can register this plugin here as well, but since we want to create our code modular, so that is why I am registering this plugin right here. And while registering to Fastify MongoDB, we also need to pass one more argument which will define our URL of our MongoDB, and the default URL of our local MongoDB is 127.0.0.1 port 7017, and the name of the database which we are giving it as testdb. Don't worry, we haven't created this testdb. It means this database currently is completely empty, and we'll create collections as part of this demo tutorial. Now after registering this plugin, what is the purpose of Fastify plugin that we installed along with Fastify MongoDB? So let us say we have connected to MongoDB, and that MongoDB instance has given a particular object of that MongoDB with which you can interact or with which you can create cursors so that you can find and insert data from the MongoDB. But without Fastify plugin, you won't be able to access those components which are returned by this plugin or which are returned by this Fastify MongoDB. So Fastify plugin will be a wrapper around dbconnect, and to do that, first we need to import Fastify plugin, and while exporting this dbconnect, we will just wrap it around with Fastify plugin. Don't worry if you haven't understood yet that why this Fastify plugin is used. I am going to explain that while we will write few more routes to insert and fetch the data from MongoDB. So we have successfully written this plugin, and now let us go back to our index.js and register this dbconnect plugin here. Now if we restart our server, you can see that our server is running perfectly fine. Now we will go back to our routes, and here I will define a route with which we will be able to insert the data in our MongoDB database. So this route will be a post route, and the route will be just /insert. We need to define an async method here which will insert the data into MongoDB. So this post is nothing but a user or a client application will send the data to this backend server, and what we need to do is we need to write a code here to insert the data into our MongoDB collection. So first of all, before creating a collection, before inserting a data into collection, we need to create an instance of a collection, and we can do that just by accessing it from fastify.mongo.db.collection, and the name of our collection would be test collection. So now you can understand that why we have wrapped around this DB Connect with Fastify plugin. If we do not wrap around with Fastify plugin, then we won't be able to access this Mongo or this DB or collection objects from Fastify. So that is why Fastify plugin is very important. And now, since we have created an instance of our collection, we will insert our data, whatever coming in the collection. So the insert query would be collection.insert, and you can pass request.body. So whatever is coming in the body of the request, I will insert that into my collection, and then I'll return the response returned by MongoDB. So now let us insert the data using this route. So for that, first we need to restart our server, and since we cannot make post request using browser, we can only make get request from the browser. I'm going to use Postman to send a post request to our to our backend server. And to do that, just select post request, then we'll define our route. Our route would be the basic URL of our backend server and the route that we defined, that is insert. In the body, we will define a JSON object which will have one animal information. In here, we are defining name as horse, type as domestic, and place as village. And if you send a request to this route, you can see that one element is inserted and we have got the response OK is equal to 1. It means that we have successfully inserted one document into my MongoDB collection, test collection. So how can I see what data this MongoDB collection has? So to do that, we can create a GET request for that. So the GET request would definitely will be similar like this. We just need to change the route path, and this route we are keeping it as animals, and instead of returning this one, what I'll be returning as, I'll write a find query, and I will create array from all the elements which are there, or all the documents which are there in this collection, and I will just return this response, whatever we will get. And after defining this get route, restart the server, and at this time we are going to access animals from our route, and just give enter, and you can see that we are able to access the data from collection. So we have inserted one document in our MongoDB collection, that is name horse, type domestic, and place village. This ID is MongoDB generated, and it is a unique identifier for this document right here. So let us insert one more document in our MongoDB collection. So we have inserted one more document with name lion on it. To practice more, let us create one more get method which will return the animals which are of specific type. So to define or to take an argument like that, we will just give colon and the parameter which we want to access in our this method. So how we will use that is, we'll create a response, and in this response what we'll do is we'll write a find query. This find query will take request.params type from it, and it will only give me those animals which are of type which we have defined here. And I will do nothing but just I'll return the response. So let us say we want to only access those animals which are of type domestic. So first let us refresh this page so that we can see that we have two animals in our database. First is horse and the second is lion. But I only want to access the domestic animals. Then what we'll do is, after defining animals, after slash, we will define domestic, and it will give me only one document, that is horse, because horse is the domestic type and lion is not. Similarly, if we want to see wild animals instead of domestic, then you can just put wild and it will give me lion because it is of type wild. So this was about filtering and fetching the data, and also about inserting the data in MongoDB. So let us now talk about hooks. So hooks is nothing but, if you want to listen to a specific events in the application or request response cycle, then you can use hooks for that. So what I mean by that, so let us say you are getting a request from a client application, and on getting a request you want to execute some functionality, then you can do that using on request hook. So there are different kinds of hooks available in Fastify. You can go to Fastify website, you can click on hooks and you will find different kinds of hooks like on request, pre-parsing, on error, on send, on response, on timeout, like that. So let us implement one of such hook in our application as well. So what we want to do is, we want to create a hook on request. So what it will do is, it will print something on the console before a request is made or on the request is made. So to create a on request hook, we will say fastify.add hook, and first we need to define the name of the hook. In our case, the hook name is on request. Then I need to take three arguments, that is request, response and done. Request and response is a parameters that we already aware about. That is, if a client application is requested for some information, then before executing the function of that particular route, it will execute this function, and request response is that. And here what we want to do is, we want to print on console, that is on request executed. And after the on request method is done, you just need to call done function at the end, so that it will specify our backend server that the on request hook has been executed, and now our backend server can execute the particular route right here. So let us restart our server and let us see if it works or not. So what I will do is, I will define, or I will call just a default route, and you can see that before executing this request, it is printing this statement, that is on request executed. And if you want to double check that, then you can define console log statement here. Just restart the server, and if you again refresh that, you can see that on request executed is printed first, and then the content in that particular route will be printed. So like that, you can use other hooks as well, which are given in the documentation of Fastify. Now let us talk about decorators. So decorators allow us to customize Fastify objects, or to store Fastify objects somewhere, so that you don't have to write those objects again and again, and you can reuse the existing stored object instead of them. What I mean by that is, let us say for example, we have defined this URL right here, but we don't want to hardcode this URL here because this URL can be used different places in our backend server, and that is why we want to create a separate object for this URL, and we will use that object wherever we want to access the information for MongoDB. So how to create those objects? So that is those objects are called decorators. So let us say we want to create a decorator for storing the information about our database. So to create a decorator, Fastify gives a method decorate, and this method takes two arguments. One is the name of the decorator, and second is the object of the decorator which we want to store it into a decorator. So name of the decorator we will give as dbconfig, and second we will pass an object, and in this object we will pass different information. First information would be the name of our database, that is testdb, host, and port. So this became our decorator. So with this, our backend server will initialize a decorator with name dbconfig, and it will store all this information in it. Note that decorator can be a JavaScript object, a function, a variable, a string, or anything. So you can pass anything in this second argument. So now let us say I want to access this decorator in here so that I can modify this URL instead of hard coding it. So I can do that using fastify.decorator name. So let us say I want to get the host for my DB. So I will do that using fastify.decorator name, that is dbconf dot the property name in that object, that is host, then we'll define similarly port, and after slash we'll also define our DB. So with this we are not hard coding anymore our database information. Instead we have created a decorator and we are taking information from this decorator. So the use of this decorator is that now if this DB information is used 50 times in our backend server, then we don't have to change that information at 50 places. We just need to change it here and it will be automatically changed in all those places where DB information is used. So after doing that, just restart our server, refresh the page. You can see that our server is running perfectly fine. You can even query animals and you will get the response successfully. So it means that we have created a decorator. Now let us talk about validation and schema. So before that, I'm going to make one more get route which will find the animal based on the name of the animal. So let us say I pass horse, so it will give me complete information, this complete document corresponding to horse. For that, we just need to define or change name over here. And we'll only find one element from it. So let me restart my server, and if I query find horse, sorry, we need to remove the toArray function. So if you query find horse, then you will get the response based on the horse parameter that we defined. But now let us say I have got this response, but there are some unwanted arguments or some unwanted result in my response. That is, I don't want to have this ID in my response. So what should I do then? So here comes the role of schema. So we can define the schema in our route, and we can pass it as an argument to this fastify.get route, so that it would only return those information which we require. And how to create a schema? To create a schema, we will create an object sc, and this sc is nothing but a schema that we want. Inside this, we will define our schema, and in schema we will define only for response. You can also do the same thing for request. And in response, along with our OK message, what we want to do is we want to define a type of our response. So type of our response will be object, and the properties of our response, and the properties will be the key of the response and what type of value it has. So let us say we are talking about name. So name has type string, just like that. We have type as well, and it has type string as well, and similar is with place as well. So now what this schema defines is, our schema will contain an element with type object, and this object will contain these properties. So this object will contain 3 parameters: name, type and place, and we have also defined a corresponding type to these elements. Now to insert this schema into this route, what I will do is I will just pass this schema object as a second argument to this get function. And if I restart my server and I refresh again, you can now see that we are only getting those elements or those parameters which we have defined in our schema. So let us remove place as well and rerun the server. And now if we refresh the browser, you can see that now we are getting only name and type as a response, because we have only defined this thing as a response. Now let us say you are creating many routes, and many places this schema will be used. So how many such schemas you will define in different files? So one solution for that is you can create decorator for a schema name, and you can define this object inside it, so that you won't have to define a schema again and again. And the second option, and the best option that Fastify gives us, is that you can register your schema so that you can use it wherever you want. And to register or add schema, there is a method called fastify.addSchema, and in this you have to define your schema that you want. So first argument will be the ID of the schema. So this will be a unique identifier of our schema. So here we are defining our ID of the schema as find schema, and we'll copy this thing, type and properties, from here, and we'll directly paste as it is in here, add schema. And now we have created a schema in Fastify, and what if I want to access this schema that we created in this routes? So now what I can do is I can remove these properties, and I can access the schema using get schema method. So fastify.get schema, and just give the name of the schema. In our case, name of the schema is find schema, and with this we have defined a schema. And if you restart your server and refresh your browser, you will still see the response which you have defined. So this is the use of add schema and get schema. If you want to get all the schemas that you have, then there is a method get schemas. So you can access that using fastify.getSchema, and it will give you all the method or all the schemas that you have added into your backend server. So with this, we are wrapping up our crash course on Fastify, and I have explained most of the important topics with which you can flexibly create your own Fastify backend server, and you can start working on backend programming using Fastify. If you want to learn more deeper about Fastify, then now it will be easy for you to just read the documentation and apply the methods which are described in the documentation. So that is it for this video, guys, and I hope you liked and enjoyed the video. I would recommend you to go to our website devsense.in, and you can subscribe to our newsletter to get the updates directly to your mailbox whenever we release a new content. Other than that, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and you can join the Discord server. You will get all the links in the description box below. If you want to support me, then you can do that by donating me on Patreon page. So that's it for today, guys. I'll be back with the next video. Till then, stay safe.